This comes down like that. This comes down like that.
Daddy, I have to restart on
Again? You what? You ripped it? You're wasting paper?
I don't know what I'm going to do.
Can I show you a video? This guy's amazing. I want to show you this video.
Oh yeah, amazing.
Oh, what's his name? There. Let me show you this artist. This one. I like his drawings. He's very inspirational. Watch this video.
VA is basically freedom. It's a giant open universe where you can do.
The answer is absolutely yes. Because if you do this exercise and you're able to visualize and draw in three-dimensional forms from your imagination, you'll have a much easier time designing your own unique elements.
This not only trains your ability to draw perspective intuitively, but also helps you memorize the object you're drawing, so you can build that visual library. As a kid, when he really wanted something, like a bike, he would draw it a lot, until he was good at drawing bikes.
If I knew how to draw a bicycle, then I can draw a motorcycle. If I can draw a motorcycle, then I can draw a car. So once I made that connection, there were so many things I was able to draw without looking at reference.
There are a lot of things that are difficult to observe in real life. It's not easy to find a place where we can observe a variety of spacesuits, or scuba gear, or tanks from specific wars. But we have a lot of resources to study these things, like books, movies, YouTube,
Wow.
or Google image search.
You like his drawings?
I used to collect a lot of references that I couldn't observe from real life.
He talks a lot about seeing things in your head before you start and while you're drawing. Visualization is another key pillar in drawing like Kim Jong-gi.
When you're visualizing the drawing that you're going to draw, are you seeing it linearly with the lines, or are you just seeing three-dimensional forms and then you translate it into lines?
The answer is to get into the habit of perceiving every object in three
Daddy, I
dimensions.
need it.
I would tell my
Alexa,
students to
spell
imagine
interview
things like a
slowly.
Okay, spell interview slowly. Turn it up. Interview. I could have done a more dramatic perspective. Oh well. Shit. I can stick something in the foreground though. Something here. Whatever.
So real you could smell it. The purpose of this is to fully immerse themselves into whatever they're drawing. It works the same way as the green screen for computer graphics widely used during movie production. When observing people, the chain of thoughts that are going through your mind should be, this person is standing behind him, and then there's another person behind that person, and another object.
So, contrary to what many believe, he doesn't see the completed drawing in his head before he starts.
I think it's all there.
He sees it realistically, as if he was actually observing it, and he doesn't always see a complete scene. If he's just sketching for fun, he'll start with one element of an idea and see where it takes him.
What happened? Oh, is that inappropriate? He's drawing something inappropriate. Oh, piano. This guy's annoying.
Can you believe she's been playing 1 week? That's just 2 months. And then 6 months playing with the rhythm.
6 months.
And that's 1 year of play.
I guess his method's working.
This is how fast you can learn the piano with the Ridley method. A new way that allows you to master
You're
the
like,
piano.
you don't want to learn piano.
When the subject matter is given, I sit and visualize for a few minutes, but when I have more freedom, I just draw. This is something I was working on a while ago. I was portraying the process of a surgery, and I ended up creating more images and backgrounds spontaneously. When I thought about a surgical procedure being done, I initially thought about drawing the inside of a human brain, but then I
Wow.
realized it might be too boring, so I decided to change the human into an alien. So pretty much everything can be created spontaneously.
I asked him how he learned to translate his vision of the real world into a line drawing.
I found myself being more detached from simple lines. I used to do a lot of underlined pencil sketches, and I left a lot of lines in them. Yeah, very meticulously. Back then, I also had a bad temper, so when I did not like the way things looked, let's say the back of a person, I would tear it apart, draw, and repeat this process until I had what I liked. There's even a drawing when I did that 11 times. However, as I gained more knowledge and experience, the number of lines in my drawing became less and less, and the drawing became more simplified. It used to take 30 lines to draw a face, but that's not the case anymore. The same goes for the eyes. It'd take multiple attempts to create the look of an eye that I wanted, and now I can draw it in one go.
Wow.
So, this is basically how I got to the different style of lines. The key is you have to first visualize what you want to draw in your head and try to jot it down with one stroke. Don't be afraid of using pen because it's permanent, but consider using a graphite pencil so you have no pressure of making a mistake and build that wrist strength. Being scared of making a mistake is just not going to help you. So consider the most familiar medium that you might be using right now and just try to practice a lot. When people see me doing a live drawing, they often try out using a brush pen, but the first time you try it, it's a new medium, so it's going to be pretty difficult on your wrist just to break the habit. Once you practice more and become more familiar with what you use, no matter what it is, it's going to be a useful tool for you.
When he was
Whoa.
young, he was inspired by anime and manga, so his drawings naturally
like his style?
gravitated toward linear. Eventually, he started studying
Whoa.
skilled figures like
Look at that.
Gibson and Korean artist Youngwon Kim, and a bunch of Europeans and Americans that he can't remember. He's known for his linear style, but he actually does a lot of tonal work too. The path to mastering shading is the same path we just discussed. Lots of observation and understanding three-dimensional form. When you have enough experience that all this technical stuff becomes intuitive, like perspective, anatomy, hand control, shading, you can instead focus on the story, the character design, and the composition of your drawing. Kim Jong-gi is thinking about the little details that communicate things about the object. Even the
I think it's all there.
screw that is used
Cool.
in a piece of tech can tell the viewer when the tech was made.
For example, let's talk about headphones. You know how headphones are manufactured with different designs? It could be a minimalistic design, or it could have many little screws that are more masculine. Those are the details that I utilize in my character designs. The different types of bolts and screws can suggest the generation, timeline, and location where this character is living in.
He says a very simple.
Whoa, what's he drawing there? What's he drawing? Yeah, I know.
character.
A frog. Wow. It's cool, eh?
This makes sense because you can use your knowledge of human anatomy to hide your ignorance of frog anatomy while still getting across the idea of a frog. This can expand your range of types of characters.
Okay, it's all there. I'm gonna make a new one. That's a cool. Maybe some perspective like this. Dramatic perspective like this, maybe. Okay, I'll start the video again.
Right? And now you can play with human character design ideas to give the frog a story, like giving it specific clothes or a gun to show that it's a gangster frog. And you can play with body types to give it personality. This tall frog is more intimidating. This is the type of stuff he's actively thinking about. He's not distracted by trying to fix his perspective mistakes or basic drawing issues. He's thinking about what he's drawing and what makes it interesting. He thinks about focal points. Areas of detail will be more of a focal point. He says to add contrast between detailed areas and simple large shapes. He shows in this example the simple jaw plate and the complicated wires and ventilation
No.
all around it.
Make this.
He uses things like stitching on clothes to define the contour and movement of the body.
So, at this stage, I visualize how she's going to pose and draw all the elements to go along with that pose. Don't just pay attention to her anatomy, meaning her bone structure. We also think about the thickness of her body, the skin that's touching. Is her clothing tight against her skin, or is it sitting on top with a gap from her skin? Also, the micro designs and micro indications are very, very important. A lot of artists that I see often make the mistake of just drawing the minor details very loosely, which is incorrect and could be bothersome. You have to indicate the thickness and the contour line, even of the small nuts and bolts that match the major perspective lines. That's what makes the character realistic. Whenever you draw, you're creating a story. You're not just drawing a character. Once you drop down one character, that means you're creating a story that revolves around that character. So after I draw the first character, I start thinking of a sub-character and how the characters interact. And that becomes a whole story.
Students with ADHD save 10 hours
Maybe a guy sitting
studying
here.
with this film extension.
But no, by all means, go ahead. Skip the ad. Save a few seconds.
I have to do a lot of reading for my job, emails, reports.
Skip? Okay, good. You like the video?
So it was the third year of college. I didn't have a girlfriend at the time, so I was just drawing at home. It was raging drawing. Like, I've got nothing else to do, nowhere to go, I'll just draw. I used to just curse people with beautiful girlfriends and say, watch where I'll be in 10 years. I'll steal your girlfriend 10 years from now. And I'll just be in my room just drawing. I don't remember exactly what I was drawing, but then I had a realization. Hey, I don't think I'll have any problems drawing any form in perspective from now on. If someone was like, hey, Chungi, draw this or draw that, I don't have any problem visualizing the form anymore. Since my drawings are based on what I have previously seen, it is a reflection of the depth of my knowledge. After looking at my drawing, it'd be easy for you to know who I am, what I know, what I am interested in, and how I feel. I'm not hiding anything because there isn't anything that's worth hiding. Ever since I was 6 years old, I told everyone that my dream is to become a cartoonist. So I had my goal very early on. But when I actually became a professional artist, it was pretty late. I was 27 when my first artwork was published.
You hear that? He's been rage drawing since he was 6 and didn't become a pro until he was 27. That's 2 full decades. Let's give ourselves some slack. But also approach it with as much enthusiasm and professionalism as he does.
When you get your first opportunity as a professional artist, you have to consider that you're doing this for your own personal use. Have ownership of your artwork. It actually took me a while to have that kind of professionalism. Not just giving artwork for money or pleasing a client, but pleasing myself with the achievement of the artwork I just made. A lot of young artists just getting into the industry often make that mistake. If you just chase after money or fame, even when you're just starting out, even someone like myself, you just can't get fooled by social media. If you get so many likes on one drawing and say, oh my gosh, I'm becoming something, but it's just a one-time thing that you're going to do over the web, and that's it. I think drawing a lot and really having a strong foundation will make you a good artist, because people will just acknowledge you. And those common mistakes young artists will make is because they feel pressure to be famous in a short period of time. But you cannot force fame or success.
I'm lazy. Why? Were you inspired by that video? Why am I lazy? How's your game coming?
I only have one rule. Stay out of the basement. What do you got in the basement?
Oh, what's going? Oh my God! What?
I want to see this.
Oh my God! What's we watching?
That blood.
What kind of plant should you always watch out for? An ambush.
I messed this up.
I want to watch that.
Of course you do. That's why they hook you with a trailer. That's what a trailer is all about. What's he drawing? Guy with a computer? Wow. What's that, a car? That's not your style though, right? Mm. Whoa. That's the radiator. Let me see how this stuff he draws. Kim Jong-un. What's this? Sketch tour book. Let's see a sketch tour book.
The legendary artist Kim Jong-un. We released a video showcasing his art, his history, and examining what makes Kim Jong-un such a great artist. If you haven't seen it, check it out. After our interview, Jung-gi was kind enough to flip through his latest sketchbook and drop a link to it. Once again, we're using a voice actor to dub him since he doesn't speak English. Enjoy.
First of all, this is the 2018 sketch collection. It has a green cover. I was really against this color, but someone pushed for it, and I'm really disappointed. And I had originally intended the cover drawing to fit on one side, but as I drew, I found myself going over the page to the back cover. There isn't a whole lot happening here. It's just a lot of fighting. I guess it shows my inclinations.
Skip the ad.
Yeah, this is random.
It's kind of boring.
And this, I really didn't want to do this either. It's humiliating. This page are things that I like.
He's crazy, eh?
Cars. A lot of doodles. Many people ask me why I draw men with clothes on and women without. That's just because I like it like that. And here are things that I typically like. And here's a doodle that I drew with my son.
Whoa, his son drew too?
Drawings with traditional Korean elements. And then drawings that were commissioned. These are works that I do on a regular basis. The biggest difference in this collection book, compared to its predecessors, is that I've included a lot more of the process of my drawings. Blueprints, esquisse sketches, commissioned work, and such. You can tell that I worked pretty hard this past year. There's a lot of random little drawings. Sorry, I'm tearing up. And
He's
here,
tearing up.
I have drawings that I was commissioned by Korea. And some that I used in my previous lectures. And I had some stuff written about the process of my drawings, but I don't actually follow this. There's a lot of falsehoods in this. And unmistakably, many naughty thoughts. This is actually one of my favorites in this book, these two drawings. And of course, a lot of military-related content. included quite a bit of my family in it too.
Whoa. What?
The everyday lives of those around me and myself.
You drew everything, eh?
You get a glimpse of what processes my drawings undergo to end up as the final pieces of work that they are. More doodles here.
I don't know what to draw.
And you also get a peek into what kind of things I think about on a daily basis. It's all out
Need a
in
reference.
these drawings.
I need a reference. Hold on a second here. I have images. I'm trying to draw a scene from this movie here. Is it like this one? Hold on a second here. Landscape. 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 Ooh, that's cool. Let me draw that though. That's pretty cool, but hold on a second here. Let me make it bigger. I'll put it there and then I'll put the video back here, okay?
More commissioned work. And drawings that were for art exhibits. Events such as Comic-Con. Lectures and classes.
Why? No. 107 facts?
For game development companies.
How's your game going? Keep going on your game.
Brainstormed blueprints before I started drawing.
Want me to pause this? Oh, what's that? I don't know what to draw in the background here. Mountains are kind of boring. I guess I'll draw rocks. And some kind of wheel here. Calculator.
Wow, I really drew for a bunch of occasions. In this section, I have more work-related drawings and personal ones, compared to the first section of the collection.
What's your worst essay grade?
Probably like a 71.
Worst essay grade, probably like a 60%.
Probably like a C.
Have you tried using Grammarly? Yeah, for like the writing and grammar. You haven't tried any of their AI features? Like what? Grammarly has a ton of free AI features, like its auto citation feature that simplifies and makes sure your citations are right
Boring.
every single time. Wow. Grammarly also has a brainstorm.
Okay.
You may find it less interesting than the first section.
After this, you can watch a Ghibli movie. But I thought you were working on a board game.
I think that seeing these blueprints will help newer artists understand the processes of scheming a drawing. And seeing how the final product comes out. Once again, I have a lot of drawings of things I'm interested in. Drawings that I put my signature on,
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
although I have way less than the previous books.
1.
Here's something I did for a TV commercial.
I didn't even do it right. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. This one. Like that.
I really tried to add variety in perspective, screen composition, and direction of gaze, because you have to show your drawings to your client and show that you're capable of drawing many different ambiances and situations. If this is a field that you're interested
Oh,
in,
this is hard.
it's being helpful. I think Starbucks may sue me sometime soon.
Starbucks.
Oh, he drew the Starbucks logo.
He drew the Starbucks logo? Okay.
Yeah,
All
he
these
drew
drawings,
the
they're
girl.
dangerous.
Oh, the girl.
Well, will probably hate me for this rendition.
Okay.
There was a lot more that was supposed to be in this collection that got taken out. A lot of naughty works. Some
Naughty
about
work.
Doraemon and more. We got rid of all that. Keeping them would have made this collection a lot more fun, though.
Ugh. I drew the wheels wrong, but 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll make this bigger. There we go. Like that. 1, 2, 3,
There are a
4,
few
5.
pieces of work that are a little older, but the great majority of the drawings are very recent. You can see how my drawings have evolved over time, as well as what I'm interested in at the moment.
Okay.
And now we've reached the end. These are from my sketchbook, the one I carry around all the time.
Something like that. Now let's get a tire going here.
Drawings about my family vacations. And there's a poster here. At the very end of the book, there is a very long poster. If I'm being honest, this was actually my daughter's poster. I took it.
Oh, he's got a son and a daughter. That's cool.
Two posters connect like this. Yeah, so this is the 2018 collection book. Like I said, I'm not a big fan of the green cover, but I reckon that some of you out there may like it. Anyway, this book, is it good? Hey, it could be good or it could be bad. But anyway, I hope you guys love it so that I can become rich. And you can purchase it at
He's pretty honest, eh?
You can buy a copy of this book there. Even I don't own a copy. It's ridiculous. Anyway, this is the end of the introduction to my collection.
Isn't that cute?
What is he doing now?
Oh, what is that?
I think it's a kind of dog.
Yeah. You want to see them drawing Totoro?
If you're sick and tired of being broke and unable to even pay your bills, this is for you.
Here, let me put up a new video for
If
you.
you're unemployed and at last
One
chance to
second.
learn,
Let
this is
me
for
look
you.
up.
If you're a single mom, receiving
I'm trying to inspire it to draw. Okay.
Daddy, I'm.
Here's Miyazaki
never
drawing.
mind.
You don't want to play the game?
I
That's how an animator works. They work very hard, eh? What do you want to watch? Spirited Away? Miyazaki was right. This one? No, it's boring, right?
no, I want to see it.
You want to see it? That's Tokyo.
屋根からね、右の屋根から津波が飛び移って吹き抜けて、その緑色の壁が緑と青っぽい、そのところに飛びついて配管をよじ登ってですね、屋根の上を走ってファンにこのビルに行くっていうのをアニメーションでやったら面白いですよ。だけど電線の上を歩けたら向こう側に行くわけなんです。もう 上から見てみると本当に全部難しいものが見えるんですよ。あのブロック塀の上を走り抜けることができるはずなんですよ。こうやっただけでね、つまんない街だと思ってると、とんでもない映画の舞台になるんですよ。やってみると結構面白いでしょ。面白いんですよ。こうはるか向こうまで行くなんてすぐね。
Anime was a mistake, is a quote falsely attributed to legendary Studio Ghibli director Hayao Miyazaki, which makes the rounds whenever he releases a new film. While Miyazaki never actually said those exact words, the quote is often associated with him for comedic effect, because, well, the guy makes anime. The truth behind this contradictory statement, though, is more complicated. While Miyazaki doesn't think anime is a mistake, he is disappointed in the industry, saying in an interview that almost
This is boring, right?
Japanese animation is produced
Is it interesting?
on a basis taken from observing real people. It's produced by humans who can't stand looking at other humans. That's why the industry is full of otaku. Which, taken at a surface level, makes sense, right? Anime isn't based in reality. That's the whole appeal of the genre. And of course the industry would be filled with people who are passionate about anime, which, for better or worse, tends to overlap with the otaku demographic. So what was Miyazaki actually trying to say? Well, in the context of the interview he was talking specifically about how women are drawn in anime.
Oh god.
But the quote also applies in a more general sense to how most animes are written today, as opposed to how Miyazaki writes his stories.
映画の奴隷になってた。自分が好きなやつじゃないんですよ。この映画こうしか生き抜けてる宿命を背負ってるんですよ。
You want to watch a more interesting video about him? No?
For anyone who's seen a Miyazaki film, it's pretty apparent that his stories are set in fantasy, but the actual characters are grounded in reality. Although his stories are about gods, spirits, and talking pigs, Miyazaki never fails to capture the subtleties of real life through his characters. Chihiro is fearful but resilient. Hal is charming but erratic. Toko is fearless but self-loathing. Perhaps the character that best represents Miyazaki's craft isn't one of his main characters, but rather a prominent side character in Lady Eboshi. I remember watching Princess Mononoke as a kid and hating Eboshi's guts because she massacred the cool-looking talking animals. But rewatching it as an adult, I was conflicted as to whether or not to view her as a bad person. After all, she caused irreparable harm to the forest and its inhabitants in order to further her mining operations. But at the same time, she's an emancipator of women and a provider of shelter and acceptance.
Want to watch something else? Here.
Whether or not we choose to side with it.
Here's one. Let me see what I can find here. The process. You want to watch this one? There we go.
Studio Ghibli is probably the most recognized name when it comes to 2D animation. Spirited Away was the first and only Oscar win for a 2D animated feature-length film till this year, But what makes a Studio Ghibli film so good? Or in other words, what makes a Studio Ghibli film? What you have to understand is that even though there are numerous talented artists who work on Studio Ghibli movies, they are only directed by one man, Hayao Miyazaki. He is the sole creative voice of most of the Studio Ghibli movies. Miyazaki has gone on to work 12 feature-length animated films for Studio Ghibli and even co-founded the company. He is so integral to the Studio Ghibli operation that when he was planning to retire, the producer for Studio Ghibli, Toshio Suzuki, planned to terminate the studio.
He created all the ideas.
でそこら辺まあみんなもちゃんときちんと説明して、で理解をしてもらって、それでまあ制作のまあ重視っていうのか解体っていうのかそういうことをやったわけだよね。
By the way, most of the information found in this video will be from the Never Ending Man documentary or a biography released on Miyazaki himself. Now you're probably wondering, Troy, who on earth would ever purchase a book for $60 in the modern day on Hayao Miyazaki?
Oh no.
I bought the book.
When it comes to making a movie, Hayao's process is a bit unorthodox. He doesn't like to start with a script because he sees it as limiting yourself to an idea. Instead, Miyazaki observes life and decides what he would like to see for himself on the big screen. A quote from the book says, "How much of your stories do you know before you start drawing?" I asked Miyazaki. "Knowing the story and knowing what happens in the story are two different things," he answered. "When I started to storyboard Spirited Away, all I knew was that the girl gets separated from her parents and some weird things happen to her. That was all. I discovered everything else while drawing it." There's some staples that are in Studio Ghibli films, one of them being a childlike whimsical feel to the overall movie, and I think the starting process helps create that effect. He doesn't limit himself when it comes to his ideas.
Okay, now the
Miyazaki
shading's
loves to
coming
get
this way.
inspiration for his films from observing. You can see it clearly in the documentary when he stares at plants for creating the film Boro the Caterpillar. He's staring at leaves and flowers to build the world of the short film. He not only gets location inspiration from life, but also from people too. In the Hayao Miyazaki book, it states, "I have known Hayao Miyazaki. To sum up his talents, he doesn't forget what he has seen." This is true for still objects, but also moving objects. When Miya's-san comes across a building or a landscape that he likes, he gazes at it for a while, taking it in. It may be for 5 minutes, or 10 minutes, or even several hours. In Spirited Away, the character Chihiro is modeled on a 10-year-old girl whose family visited Miyazaki at his atelier in Shinsu every summer from the time she was a small child. In the opening scene of the film, Chihiro runs through a strange town. Her way of running, lifting both arms up slightly and popping them from side to side, replicated that of the little girl. This isn't to say that he interacted with the girl. He just observed her mannerisms and demeanor, never becoming bored. He would watch how she acted when she was with other children, how she behaved when she was surrounded by adults. He would observe how she expressed her feelings for as long as time allowed. However, the childlike whimsicality might just be a way to keep up with his audience. Miyazaki has stated that young people inspire him to create and push forward with his films. His creativity that stems from his ideas are not just for the film, but to cater to his out-of-the-box thinking fans. In most of his movies, there's a theme of the preservation of nature. The most prominent example would probably be Princess Mononoke. At first glance, it seems like Miyazaki is going for the humans bad and nature is good theme. However, you realize it's much more nuanced than that. It's about the coexistence of both nature and humans. There are beautiful and amazing things about nature that we should appreciate. However, there are also horrible and dangerous things about nature, just like how humans can be both bad and good. And Ashitaka is the medium between both of these worlds. He stands up for both sides and tries to keep the humans from being too selfish and letting the nature world live in peace, while controlling Princess Mononoke to not hurt humans in their town. It's a beautiful love letter and warning to the coexistence of both worlds. The book also talks about this too. Miyazaki's films are full of characters that are appealing and cute. That cute character may eat someone, vomit, or start leaking fluid. True, Totoro is fuzzy and soft, but he also has a very large amount full of huge teeth. No Face in Spirited Away is mysterious, but also turns violent, gruesome, and lonely. Miyazaki finds a perfect balance between appealing, gross, charming, and creepy. Miyazaki is great with these themes because of his observation and love for the world. It's important to Miyazaki to not follow trends or what other movies are doing. He wants to go in other directions, not just the standard for the medium. He doesn't let anyone else tell him what to do.
結果論から言えば
Found that interesting?
His goals with his movies is to give hope, which is a huge theme with most of his films. The book says, the question then becomes, what is hope? And the conclusion I have to venture is that hope involves working and struggling along with people who are important to you. In fact, I've gotten to the point where I think this is what it means to be alive, is that outstanding films never rely on formulaic narrative devices. They are entertaining and thought-provoking in their elegant simplicity, with complex philosophical undercurrents. One effect that Miyazaki uses is a term he calls ma, which in Japanese means space or a pause. Miyazaki loves to use ma near the end of the film to juxtapose a high tense rising story. One great example is the train scene at the end of Spirited Away. The film's tension is at the highest, however, in scene, nothing happens. Heya believes without scenes like this, the high-intensity scenes won't have the same effect. It's what makes the high-intensity scenes hit so much harder. These scenes are also great because it gives us insight into the characters, establishes the setting of the final act of the film, or just characters observing the outside world, just like how Miyazaki would. It may be a stretch to say that pacing of Miyazaki's films mirrors real life, but they certainly seem more closely related to A Quiet Walk in the Woods than to other animated films. In a world where most of us can't sit for longer than a few seconds without pulling out our phones, Miyazaki's films invite us to feel the breeze as it blows through a field.
That's
Hearing
true.
A young girl as she watches the clouds drift by. Or wait at a bus stop with two sisters on a rainy evening. Many moments in his films are about nothing other than the charm of watching a kid eat soup or a tired old woman walking. It is rare to find a director who uses quiet and serenity so effective. This is actually something that I try to employ in my work as well, and I think I started getting the idea to do it just from watching Miyazaki's films. I don't even think I was thinking about Miyazaki's work when I was doing it, but it just felt so natural in the story I was telling. Obviously, though, when you think of Studio Ghibli movies, you're thinking of masterful animation that no other studio is doing. For art in Studio Ghibli movies, Miyazaki is a sole creative director for the film. He approves every frame of art and gives tweaks to them. Miyazaki could be seen as rude or nitpicking when tweaking art. However, it's just because of his dedication for film and the animation medium that makes him this passionate. Miyazaki's output, in contrast, has been viewed almost exclusively as the personal vision of a single artist. It is, in fact, he alone who determines every detail of his film, from storyboards and character designs to the animation of key scenes.
Okay, you want to watch something else? Hello. Okay, pick another video, but it's got to be educational, okay? Got to put something on the... Some graphics. This would come down like that, this would come like that.
Ooh, what's this?
What is it?
About this?
What's the video?
This.
Which video? The evolution of the Simpsons? Okay, fine.
They look at the gorgeous
It's a little bit
woman, and the
educational.
little thing think to herself, no, this woman is out of my league. She's unattainable.
Oh wait, that's copyright? I'll turn it down. Fine. Now it's gonna be copyright my video. It's all good. Well, I guess it's a little bit educational, right? It's hard to draw rocks. How do you draw rocks with a pen? It's difficult. Wow, look at that, eh? That's hilarious. Oh my God. He's the creator. It's Matt Growing. That's how they animate. Cool, eh? Wow. Oh, wow.
And it would suit the characters who don't have hairlines. Like showrunner Mike Rice said, the color yellow is kinda skin, kinda hair. Now we get to The Simpsons' first season as its own TV show. This is the final episode of season 1, but it is actually supposed to be the pilot, according to Al Jean, a Simpsons showrunner who's worked on the show since its very first season.
It really didn't look like The Simpsons. It was actually the last show they had, the first 15.
The first season was a learning curve. We were basically training everybody else to draw the characters as we had conceived them.
First, the animators had to make the Simpsons figures more rounded than they were in the shorts, so that they'd be easier to turn around in space. And the designs that made the characters so iconic also made them difficult to draw consistently. Artists on the show have described the Simpsons character designs as delicate and deceptively simple, because a single stray stroke could transform a character. Compare Bart to a character like Bugs Bunny.
Wow.
As David said, Bugs Bunny has quite a lot of lines, which makes him easier to capture. But with Bart's hair, for example, or his version of the Simpsons family nose, if there's a single line drawn wrong, or with the wrong pencil thickness, the character will no longer look like Bart. So throughout season 1, the show developed its model sheets, style guides that lay out the right poses, movements, and expressions for each character. The season also varied a lot in how much fluidity is given to the character's movements. Fluid animation is when a character's lines flow smoothly, like water. There are points in season 1 where the characters are very fluid, like mid-box in this scene. See that head shake she does? It's almost like the animators drew her with more frames per second than they usually do, producing this super smooth motion that stands out next to other scenes. Wacky moments like this are what many fans love most about the first season. But in season 2, those wacky moments started to become more standardized. By then, the show had developed an almost 500-page style bible, laying out
Wow.
exactly how and how not to draw the residents.
That's crazy.
This page lays out various pronouns for drawing hair, while another page defines the 8-point rule for her hair, describing how it should be clustered in groups of 3, 3, and 2 on Lisa's head. Matt also wanted to distance The Simpsons from the house styles of other animation studios, which meant
Okay, I'm gonna check out a different program. Thanks for watching. I'll be back. Sorry the comments were turned off. I just want to focus on some moody sort of background sort of stuff. Okay, talk to you guys later. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.